Hello. Yeah, mic is on. Cool. Welcome to another video. We'll just gonna go probably off on a rant about Greed Autosport. I just finished the game. Got the platinum trophy. That video will be coming out later. It's probably gonna be a short video. So yeah, it was a fun game. Greed Autosport released in 2014 on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Since then, has released on mobile and Nintendo Switch as well, which is kind of cool. I think it actually looks better. I've seen a couple of videos of it on mobile, and I think it looks better than it did on PlayStation 3 and Xbox. Yeah, Xbox 360. Which is not surprising. I mean, 6 years later, or whatever years, 4 or 5 years later, by the time it was released. So mobile graphics then, I mean, already like 2-3 years ago was more amazing compared to the PlayStation 3, especially when you consider a smaller screen. Yeah, the game was a lot of fun to play, and was one of the games that I got, one of the many games I got for free with my PlayStation Plus subscription over the years. And was good to try it in this year in 2020. One of the reasons for it, well, one, because it was on a backlog, two, because we didn't have any racing going on, and because of the lockdown, so the option was I'd watch videos on YouTube from previous races from last season, which, to be fair, I did miss a few, or play a video game. And between watching and actually racing, even if it's on a video game, obviously I'll take the racing on the game. So it was good. A couple of other good things was it's got the Turkish Grand Prix race through the campaign mode. You don't actually play match on it. You play only towards the end. I suppose depending on what order you do it, because you only play it on the open wheel racing, I think. Open wheel series, and you play it on again on that same series, but at the very end at the Grid Legends, which was one of the last events to unlock. So I don't recall seeing it before, but it may have been then. I just didn't pay attention. And so yeah, that racetrack hasn't been. I haven't played that in any video game, and I haven't seen anything on that racetrack since it was last in Formula 1 a few years ago. So seeing it back on Formula 1 calendar this year and actually being a game, that was kind of cool. The other racetrack that I had never raced on, and I only seen sports car racing on, is another one that's going to be on Formula 1 this year, part of this kind of improvised schedule, which is the circuit of the Algarve. And I've watched the Blank Pain GT series on it. It is an interesting track. I kind of like it a little bit. I'm a big fan of the Israel racetrack, but the Algarve racetrack is nice. It's nice and newer facilities, and it's well made. So being able to race that in the game, especially, you do race that a lot actually. That track is used a lot in the game. And different configurations, of course, which some of them are annoying. Same for other racetracks as well. But it's good, you get to race on it, so that was good. Maybe I should have some beer. Let me sort my stomach out. The other thing was the Kota Circuit of the Americas racetrack. I never raced on it. I've seen a lot of racing on it, from Formula 1 to sports car racing, touring car racing even. So it was nice to be able to race there. And you do race there a fair bit as well. It's a really good racetrack. It takes some of the best things from all the racetracks around the world and puts it in a single racetrack, and still works. Because a lot of times that architects try to do that, architects or whatever, race track designers, whatever you call them, they try to do that, and it doesn't really work when you actually got to race there. Kota, I think it works. It's a really good racetrack. So what else can we say about the game? It took me a while to finish it, because playing Naruto, playing Bleach, I think I played something else in between as well, and obviously between work and that, so that was a bit of a pain. Anything I can add to? Yeah, probably some cars. Yes, cars drive quite well. So the game is a lot of fun. It's an arcade game. It's not, don't expect to be like Gran Turismo, Forza, or even more simulated type games. So it's not really my type of game. I'm not Need for Speed games and great. That's just for fun. Personally, I would prefer a simulator type, even if it's like just a Gran Turismo or Forza, which are not the most simulator type racing games, but they're definitely far more accurate than these games. But Grid is still a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun with that game. The cars, there's good choice of tracks and cars. The cars don't drive too bad. I drove mostly with assists off, apart from the traction control, which is fine on some weaker cars, but on stronger cars it's really hard with the controller. If I had the racing wheel like I did in the past, and the pedals set up and that, I probably would have used the traction control off on any car, even the crazy street car versions, which there's just a lot of torque and all that, but that would have been fine with the wheel, but with the control it's a bit harder and I didn't want to waste time on that. There is the odd car where it really feels like you've got plastic tires and you are driving on ice. It's really bad with a couple of cars, but overall it's not bad for an arcade game. It's quite decent. Probably bad if you have a wheel. I suspect you'll have even more fun. Other than that, in terms of pros and cons, pros of the game, it still gets what we call kind of like seasonal events kind of thing every week. So they refresh the online that events that you can get rewards. They're all single player, I think. You just need to be connected to RaceNet or something stupid like that. I think even if you're not connected to RaceNet, you still get the rewards. It's just the ranking that gets affected or something. I don't know. And that's good because that is one of the trophies is you need to get on rankings for those, I don't know what they call it, not seasonal events, but weekly multiplayer events, weekly online events, whatever the hell they're called. So that's good. Even if the game has been out for 6 years, so I suspect a lot of the events that they put, probably all of them, they're kind of recycled through. They just go on a cycle. So every Tuesday this one comes on, and a few weeks later you go back, the cycle goes back, and you restart with one you've already done. I suspect that's what's happening. I've only done like 3 or 4 seasonal events, so it might not be. If it isn't, even better, because they will show even a higher level of support for a game that's 6 years old. Even if it's just on a cycle through, changing every week and resetting itself, that's still pretty good. Still better than freaking what Gran Turismo did, that's for sure. And many other games. 6 years on the line, the online servers are shut, and there's nothing new coming up. So it's good on that point. Obviously, being available on multi-platforms, it's a good thing. It's even better on mobile, because I didn't play any of the DLC, I only got the base game. But if you buy the game on Android or iOS, supposedly you get the DLC included with it. The DLC looks kind of fun, so, but again, I don't know how much they're charging for it. But if you get it on mobile devices, you get the DLC included, which is kind of cool. The campaign and progress systems aren't too bad. I mean, progress, you just have to level up. You get to level 10 on each discipline, only offline, to unlock the last of the events, pretty much. You are forced to use multiple vehicles. That's really a good thing, because it's all too easy on some of these games to start a competition with a car and just do it through. So I think they do a good job, especially throughout the events. You've got the six events on the championship or season. I think they call it the season actually. And in between you've got like a couple of cup races. Sometimes you've got just one cup race, and it's a car that's completely different from what you're driving. Still within the same class, but they tend to feel a lot different. So I think the game did a good job on that. Tracks and vehicles is definitely a pro as well. Good variety of tracks you've got. I mentioned Circuito de Algarve, I mentioned Kotan, the Turkish Grand Prix circuit. Spa-Francorchamps is there, Yas Marina is there. There's another one, I don't know if it's... I don't know if it's... I think there's 2 from around the area, Yas Marina, and I can't remember the other one. Indianapolis is there, it's used quite a lot. A couple of other tracks, I can't think of the name, but it's a good variety. Obviously when you do the whole, like I think there's only 3 events that I did not do. So when you do that many events, or even if you complete them all, you will repeat a lot of the same track, so that's normal in any game. So. Yes, it's always better to have more, but I think the game has done a good job of covering those. There's yeah, Brenzach is there as well. Just remember that one. Ockenheim is there, and I'm sure I'm forgetting others. So yeah, that's good. On the cons, I would say the AI is pretty dumb. It's yeah. I think you could probably incorporate the difficulty settings with it, which it's like it's crazy. Like if you play very easy, it's obviously very easy. You don't really struggle to get to first place, and then you're just there alone. It gets really boring if you do the championships like that, because you spend 2 to 3 laps by yourself in front. It gets pretty boring, especially as it gets repetitive. But then you change it to easy, and then some of the classes, it becomes so much. It becomes hard. It goes from being dead easy to actually hard. I don't get it. The difficulty change there. It makes absolutely no sense. It gets even worse, and there's a special category in this game, which is the touring car. So out of the racing categories that you've got, it doesn't have rallycross, but it's got the pretty much the touring car, open wheel racing, endurance, which is GT, and let's say prototype, Le Mans prototype cars, and the street cars, the street class, and tuner cars. They're all pretty much similar. The AI is pretty much the same on all of them, apart from touring car. In touring cars, you can get to first place still, and that they're a lot more aggressive, which is fine. It's touring cars, you know, there's bumping and grinding, you know, you get it. Totally cool with it. In fact, it makes it somewhat realistic. What it doesn't make so realistic, in my opinion, especially compared across the racing spectrum, is that you get to first place and you can't pull away. There will always be close by. The rubber band effect is really strong on that. Of course, my phone goes off as usual. And if you bloody phone. So yeah, you get to first. They will always be that close to you that you just cannot check them off. Which means if you make a mistake, like getting to the last lap, you make a mistake, and you haven't got any of those rear, you know, turn back time kind of things, then you're pretty much screwed. And it's quite easy to do, especially if you're playing on a high difficulty. Then it makes it pretty hard how they somehow keep with you all the time. Also, that's the one that's really hard to get a fast lap on. All the other categories, if you're fast and you can get to first place, and that you will normally not struggle to have the fastest lap. On touring cars though, nah, because they're coming from behind you with a huge rubber band effect. They're just always faster, near on always faster. That also works when you are behind them. You catch to them, you can feel the rubber band effect really as you're controlling the vehicle. You can catch up to them so much faster. It was not a fun class to drive. Obviously you need to get every single one to level 10, so I had to get that to level 10, plus do some other championships that you kind of need for the trophies. It was the least fun and the least realistic when you compare it to the other classes, and I think that was my third class. I did street, tuner, then I went touring car, then I went the endurance and GT class and the prototype, and the open wheel was the last class that I did, which is why I didn't finish it. The 3 events that I didn't do, 2 or 3 events, are on the open wheel category, because at that time I just wanted to platinum. So yeah, it's alright. Other than that class, you get used to it. The GT class is the only one where you're forced to have damage, and that's on the tires. So you've got tire degradation. It doesn't, unless you're screwing up a lot, you won't have an issue with it. Just try to not screw up the tires. Try not to break yourself. If you've got the assists on, it will probably be easier. But I can't drive with all the assists on because it makes me slower. So you just gotta manage the tires a little bit. And yeah, they are a bit harder to overtake. When they pass you, they just go. They're a lot more in a way more aggressive than the touring cars, because you tend to do racetracks that you're doing high speeds. So they just go past you if you screw up. The other classes, not so much. The drifting part of the game, actually, which I haven't touched, that was kind of fun. But it's quite easy to do a lot of points. The AI is really dumb on that. But again, that's just another thing that the AI is not good on. So from AI and difficulty settings and all that part, the next one will be the online progress. Sadly, I couldn't really experience much on online because the servers are still open, but there's not many people playing. There's I don't know if it's PSN trophies or PlayStation trophies.org or something like that. You can organize, like if you need help with trophies, you can organize some events. Overall speaking, you don't find that many people online, so I didn't bother with it. One of the reasons I didn't bother with it was because because I had to try and get the platinum out the way, so I didn't really have time to mess about trying to wait for lobbies and that. So basically I was using a second PlayStation 3 to boost the trophy, because it makes a difference. Getting the win bonus all the time and all that, it does make a difference. And even then, I had to grind a lot for weeks on end while playing other games and work and stuff. But the grind is ridiculous, and that's my next con. Is the online grind is bad. I get they are trying to get people to play to stay connected with the game and buy DLCs and all that. So yes, I see why they would want people to keep playing the game and not complete the online and then okay, I finish the game and go play something else. But they've gone too far. I mean, they even sell an XP booster on the PlayStation Network. That's how bad the grinding is. So they have to make it that bad. Then oh yeah, but you can buy a booster to make it a little bit better. Even with the booster, is a hell of a grind. So online progress, sorry, that was enough for me. I did it because of the trophy, for the platinum trophy, but no. Gold Masters, you really messed up on that one. Well, so they're making money, so from that point of view, yes, it was good, but the fans wouldn't have liked that grind. And while I was searching for some help on some trophies and what would be the easiest way to do it, a lot of people complained about the grind. So yeah, not good publicity, not good PR on that one. The other, I think, at least as far as I can think of, the last con is the graphics. The game came out in 2014. It should look better than what it does. It's not great. When you're playing it and that, you don't really mind as much, but it's definitely. I mean, I played the game is not for the graphics, but obviously I need, it's that obvious. I need to point it out. And when you consider there being Need for Speeds, even Gran Turismo 5 was out in 2010, it looks miles apart from this. So that was a big no-no as well. Other than that, it was a fun game. I liked it. I don't think I'll ever play it again. Probably will uninstall it off my hard drive. Not that I need space, because there's no more free games coming and I've got a 500 Gigabyte drive on that PlayStation. But yeah, there's nothing else to say about it. It was good fun. I'll have a couple more videos coming out on it. I think a lap of Brands Hatch with an open wheel car, not the same one as I used on the video last posted. And then probably just a quick video when I got the Platinum. And that would probably be it for the game. Unless I end up playing it on mobile or something, I mean, sometimes I get crazy ideas. But other than that, I do think starting the PlayStation 3 version will be the only version of the game that I'll play. It was really good, and now I'm happy that I finished the game and we've got Formula 1 season going on. It's pretty much halfway through the season, and there's all other events going on. The WBC has been on for a few weeks. The Blank Pain, or it's now called GT World Series, have been on as well, so I actually have all the racing to focus on, which is kind of cool. I enjoyed it. Wish, those cons weren't there, but it was worth the play. Probably the last Platinum I'll get for a long time. The last one I got before this one God, must have been 2014, between 2014 and 2016. Before I started Naruto Online, it would have been around that time that I got maybe 1 or 2 platinums. So it's been 4 years without a platinum, and barely playing PlayStation 3 as well. So yeah, next I'll be going back to The Witcher 2 on PC. Forgotten all the controls and everything by now. Again, it's like the second large break that I've had off the game. And for someone who's a PC, you know, keyboard and mouse noob like me, it really makes a difference because you just forget everything. I still remember the story and everything there for the most part. I still know what's going on, but controls and that I really do struggle as I go back to it. So yep, thank you all for watching. If you see Grid for free anywhere, Grid Auto Sport, grab it. It's definitely worth it. If you have to pay for it, yeah, maybe I'll have a think about it. All really depends on the price. But for an arcade game, it's actually quite a fun game. It's been out for 6 years. Glad I finally played it. Yeah, I thought I'd make a video on it. Yeah, you know me. Weird videos like this. Thank you all. Take care, and see you on the next one.